to
Go
go, then I'll
ahead.
go last.
So are we live now?
Yes.
Oh, and Banu could jump in if you want to. Or anybody.
All right. So the conversation is about did the AIDS virus and did the white man was having sex with monkeys and was conducting experiments on black people with AIDS, the origins of it. So if you look at the source will say that AIDS came around 18th century and people handling meats. But the origins of the AIDS comes from the simian, which comes from chimps and apes. And we see those things are indigenous to Africa. So if any type of come ups will actually be the indigenous people of that land, they will have to transmit that virus from simian to human, which will become HIV. Um, so I think Mike has something to say about that.
Well, one, we didn't start there. Actually, we got there because you said that Africans were having sex with monkeys, and that's how AIDS got here. That's how we got to COVID. Is the Barbary macaque indigenous to Europe? Yes or no? Because you said earlier that monkeys aren't indigenous to Europe, and that's incorrect.
No, I said monkeys are indigenous to Europe, and I
So then
think
why
that
would
was
you make
Appy
that point
who's.
about Africa if both continents have monkeys that are indigenous to it?
No, and outside of that, I thought another part of the conversation was the white man creating COVID and then killing off half of
Right,
his race.
right. I thought that's what we were talking about.
So
And
no, go
then
ahead,
we
Appy.
jumped
Your
into
turn.
that
Go
one.
ahead and explain what
It
you was going
started
to say.
with the Africans having intercourse with monkeys, and that's how the HIV virus spread. And then I came in and said it was actually spread by Dr. Death.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that's a myth. I think that's a myth that humans had sex with monkeys. I don't think that's how they transmitted the disease. Um, to me, if a black person would say, "Well, a white man has sex with monkeys," I will counter with no. It would be the black man who would have sex with monkeys because they're indigenous to that land. Chimps doesn't come from a European
But
monkey, and monkeys doesn't come from Europe. They migrated there. They
but
don't. They don't.
not to cut you off, but to rebuttal that, just because you're a native to some land doesn't mean that you are the progenitor or the pioneer of doing something evil or good. It just means you're the first one there.
Right. So if they were the first one there, then wouldn't that animal that's indigenous to the land, along with the people, would be conducive to that type of virus?
Well, I don't think either one of us believed that people were having sex with monkeys, and that's how it came to be. Like she said, Dr. Death, that's a person. That would have been something that was created in a lab.
Right.
But how could he create
Yeah, you
something in the
don't you
lab
don't get a
if
virus. You actually that's actually a scientific infectious disease medical fact. You don't get a virus from fucking. The virus was
Right.
already created and then somebody got in contact with somebody that had the virus. You get
right?
STIs and STDs. Those are sexually transmitted diseases, which can also actually be created. But that's a different subject.
Okay, cool. But no, you're right. It was created first through the simians. They the first ones who got the virus, and then once it's transmitted through humans through contact, then that's when it becomes HIV. It's SIV, then it becomes HIV.
Can you read a source
Then
from the
a
Simians? I don't know who these people are that you keep referring to.
no
Exactly.
simians is monkeys.
Nigga, you talking about goddamn Siamese? Or you talking about the rhesus monkey?
Yeah.
No, hold on. I'm gonna read it to you. Hold on.
Could you drop it in the chat so we could look at what you're looking at too?
The simian monkey is very smart and can read books, but it's very dirty.
and it's all going to tie into Wuhan. Now, Eric, do you agree with the Wuhan lab leak theory that that's where COVID came from?
Nigga, simian monkey is a primate group that includes all monkeys and apes.
Uh,
Uh oh.
So
I see the silk ice. I see
SIV
the silk ice is
SIV is
going to war for
simian
Silky.
immune immunodeficiency virus. That's where the name comes from. So yes, the simians is not a tribe of people. It's referring to like apes, the monkeys. So that's how the first case came from indigenous chimps that comes from Africa. Doesn't come from Europe.
Okay,
So you
so
will have to
how
give.
did?
So hold on. Check this out. So you will
No, no,
have
I
to
just want to
find.
Hey, would you
virology. How
start
would
You will
that be
fucking
have to
again?
find
relevant?
You should
evidence
start fucking
where
the
a
monkeys.
white
You
European
No,
white
no, no,
took.
people.
Eric. I'm trying to deal with this first point. Stop trying to jump to another point. How would that initial case take place in monkeys without it happening in a lab first?
Um, First, they will have to find out where it originated from,
Well,
and
you just said
you will
Africa.
have
I
to
can.
find
All
out
right, cool.
where it came from through the lab. They didn't create it through the lab, so
but
they
also, but
found the
also,
case.
but
Go ahead.
also, again, not to cut nobody off, just rebuttaling. This is Afi. Shout out. This is about to be a good one. Also to rebut that, actually, in order for it to reach animals and other humans, they will have to use test subjects, which is rats, insects, and other humans.
But yeah, they will have to test
It's
the
called
humans.
experimentation.
Yeah, the only way you could test the simian virus into a human until it reaches HIV. That's the
No, that's
first
what it
stage.
mutated. That's what it mutated into. I'm saying like
Right.
the original thing was in the lab when they're creating these diseases and sicknesses. They're still using test subjects of animals, humans, and insects. And then they
Well,
let these
I
test
don't think they
subjects run
created.
loose. And then they
I don't
study
think
them.
they created in a lab. I think it was created through nature first, and then we
Why
got a
would
hold of the viruses
why would nature create AIDS?
because nature would kill people. Nature kills and free people.
I didn't say nature kill people.
Daddy,
That's moving the goalposts. I said why I said, have you heard of a tree creating a deadly virus?
No, but just like everything else, everything develops on its own through nature, natural selection.
I have a question. Could someone share their screen so we can watch that documentary in the back?
That would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I could share it.
Okay.
If it says it's unavailable, I can't share it.
What? That what
Yeah,
I
I can't share my screen because it says it's unavailable for sharing.
Wow. That's wow. See, there
You
go
might have
my
to do it,
point.
Irie, 'cause I can't share.
Can
Not
Uh,
letting me
someone else see
share.
if they can share it?
After you think you
I'm
can
on my
share it, Alfie?
laptop. I can't.
let me let me see. Let me see.
Try sharing your whole screen, the entire screen.
If he come on, turn it sideways, Alfie, and then that way everyone can make it bigger.
Yeah.
What do Pitbull, DJ Khaled, and Wyclef Jean have in common?
Okay.
They're among the hundred.
You couldn't see that. Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
changed that one. Didn't I just change that one?
Hey, can you mute out Neo?
406, 406,
Decomposed, alive, gruesome.
406. All right. Could you make it just this video full size?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to tap his screen to make it full size.
Hold on. Jeez.
And all you got to do is turn your phone sideways, Alfie.
Nigga looking
Got
like
you.
an Anunnaki.
Yeah, crazy.
Tonight on Special Assignment, as Wouter Basson goes on trial, we meet the scientists who tried to develop the ultimate biological weapon in his laboratories. And we expose the Belgian professor who collaborated with the man they call Dr. Death.
The south of England, where the clash of swords and the hymns of angels still rise from ancient castles and graveyards. It was to this part of the United Kingdom that Special Assignment came in September. Our mission, to unravel one of the best-kept secrets of South Africa's chemical and biological warfare program. We knew that somewhere between thousands of pages of Truth Commission evidence and countless news reports was a story untold. Of a project to breed the ultimate biological weapon, small, undetectable, and lethal. In a manor house on an estate near the hamlet of Hoek, we spoke to Dr. Daan Goosen, a distinguished clinical pathologist and veterinarian who became a professor at the age of 28. At one stage, he headed South Africa's biological warfare laboratories.
An irresponsible person could have killed millions of people. Millions of people. It could have had devastating consequences.
It was in a secret laboratory 15 kilometers north of Pretoria that Daan Goosen and his team of scientists hatched their killer bugs. South Africa's chemical and biological warfare program, codenamed Project Coast, was based at the Roodeplaat Research Laboratories. Inside the complex was a huge containment laboratory where work on the most lethal bacteria and germs was conducted. It was behind steel gates, a double row of electrified fencing, and specially bred guard dogs that the scientists achieved their terrifying breakthrough.
To get to this stage took about 7, 8, 9 years.
It's so small you have to look at it under a microscope, and you have to look at it at least at 1,000 times magnification. Then you will see a small little speck.
This is like splitting the atom. Exactly the same thing. But we were awed by the possibilities should this be applied in a war situation, yes.
And it looks very much like a brick, a small brick-like organism.
So it's unbelievable when you see it, to think that this can potentially kill 1 million or 2 people. It's unbelievable.
Project Coast was born in the early 80s out of the total onslaught paranoia of former state president P.W. Botha. About R1 billion and staff of nearly 200 were allocated to Project Coast. The project carried on into the early 90s and was only disbanded shortly before F.W. de Klerk handed power to Nelson Mandela. At the time, the chief of the South African Defence Force was General Constant Viljoen.
So in the Angolan situation, we came across certain indications, according to intelligence reports, of the possibility of chemical warfare. We all received training, encounter chemical warfare. We were equipped with basic protective clothing. We were dead sure that the possibility of this kind of warfare was a real danger to UNITA and to South Africa. Those weapons never showed anywhere in Angola. I don't think there ever was chemical weapons in Angola. But there is a report of one case where there were certain explosions by bombs that caused a type of gas which reminded of the old type of mustard gas situation.
The report referred to by General Viljoen was drawn up by a Belgian toxicologist, Professor Obain Heinrichs. The report claimed that the MPLA and the Cubans poisoned UNITA soldiers with chemical weapons. This video shows Heinrichs dressed in protective clothing and a gas mask collecting samples of a so-called chemical nylon bomb in Angola. Throughout the 80s, the reports of Professor Heinrichs were submitted to the generals to motivate for more money for Project Coast.
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 billion more readers if you've written a
More money for Project Coast.
His role was in establishing a legitimate reason for the South African government and the taxpayer, the army, to get involved in up to this scale in a chemical biological program.
There was another reason for establishing Project Coast. By 1983, the townships were burning. The ANC had embarked on a campaign to make the country ungovernable. The war was coming to the townships.
So I then said, let us develop a type of gas that would calm people down, that would take away aggression from people.
And so Project Coast was born. Wouter Basson, a doctor and commandant in the Defense Force, was handpicked to develop a chemical and biological capacity for his apartheid masters. 15 years later, Basson is now standing trial on 67 charges, ranging from fraud to drug dealing to murder.
We regarded him a very trustworthy man and a man of high integrity, and I thought that this would be the man to do this.
Basson and I had long discussions over a period of months on this issue. And it was quite clear that he conveyed it to me that we are going into a total war situation. And I felt very positively towards Basson. He visited me at home. He was a soft-spoken gentleman, and he was nice to my family. And this was to me, I had a very positive feeling towards him.
Soon afterwards, Basson started recruiting scientists for Project Coast. Dan Goosen was one of his most trusted allies and was appointed as the managing director of Roodeplaat Research Laboratories.
We could have employed whoever we wish. We could have gone headhunting, recruited the top scientists in the country. We could have put up the best facilities, and we could really be involved in leading and very, very sophisticated science.
I was asked by Dr. Dan Goosen to join the company as head of the microbiology department.
Guidelines were clear from the beginning. It should be products which are preferably not detectable and not traceable.
Oh, I was promised good equipment, good facilities, and the best people that money could buy at that stage.
We had in the end over 600 organisms in the culture bank. Not all of them were suitable for biological weapons, but I would say about 20, 30 of those organisms was very, and the classical type of biological weapons.
At the Roodeplaat Research Laboratories, Dan Goosen and his scientists got working. All the program's microbiological work and experiments were performed at Roodeplaat. Project Coast was divided into a chemical and biological section. The chemical laboratory was called Delta G Scientific and was rigged with state-of-the-art equipment. In 1986, a Rand Afrikaans University academic and organic chemist, Professor Johan Koekemoer, was approached by Basson.
Dr. Wouter Basson made an incredible impression on me. I found him a very highly intelligent person, and also as a doctor, as a specialist in his field. He also created the impression that he was extremely proficient in what he was doing and what he could do.
Delta produced and analyzed poisons and powerful tear gases. Several people were allegedly killed with these toxins.
We were quite a happy bunch of scientists doing quite some interesting work.
Johan Koekemoel embarked on probably the most bizarre aspect of Project Coast. He was allegedly ordered by Wouter Basson to manufacture a ton of the drug ecstasy. He believed it would be used in the townships to calm or incapacitate blacks during riots.
I had my doubts about the use of ecstasy as an incapacitant, because I would not like to make any people that I was fighting against happy and contented. I would rather have them disorientated.
Forensic scientist Dr. David Klatzo finds the suggestion laughable that drugs like ecstasy or mandrax could be used to subdue angry people.
How do you deliver it? How do you monitor the dose? How do you make sure that the wind doesn't blow the aerosol? You presumably have to administer it in an aerosol form, presumably in a situation where you've got an unruly crowd. How do you make sure that the wind doesn't blow it away?
We probably produced about 900 kilos of ecstasy for the army in pure crystalline form. We officially had an order of a ton of this material.
How do you make sure that people get sufficient dose to incapacitate them, as opposed to just make them merry?
That ton of material cost the taxpayer around 3 million rands to produce.
Dr. Klatzo also finds a list of poisons that the chemical scientists produced to be crude and insignificant. Although they were extremely toxic and dangerous, they were relatively easy to obtain.
If this was what we spent 100 million rand on developing, then we're not dealing with scientists, we're dealing with buffoons. And if this is the best that they can come up with after the expenditure of 100 million rand, I mean, you're dealing with intellectual Neanderthals.
We'll pay you to get your CDL and give you a truck driving job with one of the nation's safest.
Back at Roodeplaat, Don Goosen and his team of biologists were hatching the world's most lethal biological substance. It's called botulinum.
It certainly is a substance which is lethal to a large number of people. It will kill in fractions of a microgram level per kilogram. Very, very low levels. One of the most toxic substances known.
The scientists developed a technique to extract the poison from the organism in order to purify it. It was the first time this had been done in South Africa.
Now what we do is you grow it artificially, you collect the fluid in which the organisms grow, and then you make an extraction of that to get to the purified product.
Very inconspicuous, very non-threatening. It's a little bottle, about 4 or 5 centimeters in height, 2 or 3 centimeters in diameter.
We produced at least 3 to 5 grams of the purified substance of this botulinum toxin.
5 grams is probably enough to kill about 1 million people.
It would be as a result of asphyxiation, paralysis of the muscles that assist with the breathing process.
Is it quite a horrible death?
I would imagine so, yeah.
That's an offensive weapon. You would introduce that into a food supply or into a water supply.
Then, in the middle 80s, the Roodeplaat scientists started to develop the ultimate biological weapon: to engineer genetically a botulinum organism. It would make it even deadlier because it would be undetectable.
The most scary part of our project was this genetic manipulation of organisms. It is a very powerful tool.
They produce higher quantities of toxins. You need less of the toxin to maim or to kill people, and that the detection of those toxins would be retarded.
So we transferred information from the DNA from one organism, transfer that information to another organism.
You can infect water supplies, and that will take them a bit longer than what is necessary to determine what the actual cause is.
A ton or two of a chemical weapon will kill about 100,000 or 200,000 people. But these toxins we spoke about here, about 3-4 grams, would kill millions of people.
I don't have first-hand experience on the effect on humans, but in laboratory animals it is lethal.
But how advanced was this science really? And how dangerous was a genetically engineered bug? We traveled with Dan Goosen to the north of England to the University of Leeds. There he discussed their biological program with chemical pathologist Dr. Alistair Hay, a leading expert in chemical and biological warfare.
What it was is we produced E. coli clones with the ability to produce toxins from two organisms. The one is the botulinum toxin. The other one was toxins from the Clostridium perfringens, and that was killing.
And it seems that they were using some very common bugs, and they were engineering these bugs to make them more toxic. And they were putting little bits of genetic material into these other bugs, so that if those bugs, in the event, poisoned somebody, the bugs would produce far more serious toxins.
The number, not much. A few strains or a few strains of organisms. But that's not the significance. The significance was that we've achieved this technology.
So if you had E. coli, which produced this botulinal toxin, someone would get ill with the bacteria, and the doctor would try and treat the E. coli infection, but might be completely bemused as to why this individual was also paralyzed. This is really cutting-edge bacteriology. It's biological warfare, in quotes, which you would be extremely concerned about. It's a sort of program that you wouldn't want any government or any individual to be involved in.
The genetically engineered bugs were freeze-dried and stored in Roodeplaat's safety fridge. According to the generals, all the viruses and bacteria were destroyed in an incinerator when Project Coast was closed down in the early 90s.
The destruction of the program seems to have been in the hands of Dr. Besson, the one person that seems to have had most involvement to the program and the one that people are most concerned about.
I cannot assure you what happened to it because I wasn't around at that stage anymore. But supposedly, according to testimony of some scientists, it was all destroyed.
I don't know whether those agents were destroyed or not, but it does seem that there was very little auditing of the destruction, and that isn't very reassuring.
I don't know what happened to that. I presume, or I hope, everything was destroyed.
Hi, this is Susie with Heartwise Home Buyers, a family-owned company in the business of buying houses. Looking to...
I don't know what happened to that. I presume, or I hope, everything was destroyed.
This
I don't
show
think we
about
got
over,
one.
y'all.
Goosen
It's
and
about
Mike
over.
Woodendahl might have brought South Africa to the brink of a disaster. But they are back in civilian life today. Instead of hatching bugs, they produce animal vaccines. Roodeplaat is now dedicated to plant research. Ghent, the intellectual capital of Belgium. The city is also home to toxicologist Obain Heinrichs, the maverick professor who has become one of the most controversial figures in the shadowy world of chemical and biological warfare. His first report on the presence of chemical weapons in Angola in 1982 helped motivate the launch of South Africa's own chemical and biological warfare program. Subsequent reports by Heinrichs in the 80s instilled further fear into the hearts of the generals. As a result, more and more money was allocated to Project Coast. According to the charge sheet against Wouter Basson, Heinrich sold 12 NATO-embargoed chemical agent detectors to him. In 1988, Basson allegedly paid the Belgian professor nearly 600,000 rand for his services. We found Heinrichs only a day after he had returned from Kosovo, once again on the hunt for chemical weapons.
Here I show you some samples from intoxicated dead people that we took in the UNITA territory. Gases used by Luanda. This is human hair, also from dead people, that we took. Yes, we found sarin, which is a neurotoxic gas. We found phosphine. We found an organic cyanide.
Angola, of course, was his big case because it was his story. So he went to Angola, and I think he has been there at least 4 times, and almost every time he came back with a new chemical weapon that he has found.
There is 100% proof that chemicals were used by the government of Luanda.
Dr. Daan Goosen accompanied us to Ghent to study Heinrichs' Angolan reports.
With these claims, we are familiar since the early 80s, when they was first used to create a motivation for establishing a chemical and biological ability for the South African government.
You can stop it.
He's one
You don't
big
have to
fraud.
watch.
He has nothing. I don't think he
You
has
can
done
stop it. We don't
anything
have to watch
solid
the
in
whole
his life
video. You know, the
apart from
blacks doesn't
misleading
have
people
good
about
comprehension.
Going on,
Because
man?
Oh, all the blacks gone. Yeah, I was just thinking the blacks don't have good
that's crazy.
so
Ran
I was
off.
learning shit.
it was about over.
Yeah, it was about over. I was learning shit. Like, well, I got it in my history now.
So what you
That's
think about
crazy.
it for?
Niggas really got short attention spans. You know what? It may be some of these motherfuckers that got chemical bio warfare in them.
Yeah, and I was thinking that, some people probably
Because according
suffering
to that
from it.
video, it said that when these motherfuckers is making these chemicals, and it's some of the drugs that some of us have took and all type of shit. They say they put this shit in everything. They make it to make niggas docile and sedate them and non-violent and all this type of shit. I'm like, damn, this sound like us right now.
Then they talking about something. We don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to it. We hope that everything was burned away.
They know where that shit at.
They know where it's at. Put that shit in our food in the black community. They don't want to say it. No, one
Everywhere.
doctor
Straight to
said though, he was
McDonald's
like,
and Popeyes and Church's fried chicken. That's where it
fact.
is.
Yeah.
And they said they put that shit in ecstasy. One of the doctors, he said it. He was like, yeah, we were at war with these people, and to make these black people docile, we gave them ecstasy. I'm like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That shit at Popeyes, Church's chicken, Kool-Aid, all that shit. Cause they said they could make shit
Bojangles.
undetectable. I'm like, undetectable.
Yep.
What got me was how they all was in cahoots going against one doctor, and then all of them tried to say at the end, "Oh, we don't know if this is still going on or anything like that. We're studying plants now." And
Don't
oh
believe that
man,
for a second. Don't believe that for a second. They still studying the blacks.
I'm about to say studying plants ain't got nothing to do with what y'all just said for damn near 30 minutes. Oh man.
Yep. But you notice as long as everybody could just pop they talk, it was cool. But sitting have to listen to this video and the scientists and the people who actually created these things speak is they didn't want to listen to that.
They didn't want to listen to it. I
Mm.
was enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost over. It was only 8 minutes left. And then you tapped me in and you was like, nah, the blacks ain't got that type of comprehension no more.
No, they
So
don't.
that's why I was like, shit, well, that looked like biological warfare. It looked like what we just watched.
That was my point earlier. It is biological warfare, and that's what I was trying to get Eric to see. You know, AIDS and all that mess. That was all biological warfare, and they said it without using those. You know what I'm saying? We
Uh-huh.
them down.
They tried to use them little fancy words and shit.
Told us Cuba used biological
Going on, man?
warfare, and we studied bombs and all this stuff. They said it without saying it. They skate dance, but yeah, they said
It was only two doctors and two toxicologists that was honest on that bitch. All of them was trying to throw you off with other little side little shit that had nothing to do with the video. Y'all didn't create this shit to study bombs and all that other shit. Y'all created this shit to go at niggas.
it.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
It was only two doctors and one toxicologist that was honest on that bitch. All the rest of them was lying their ass off. Y'all know why y'all created this shit. Oh, we don't know why we were doing it at
Created
first.
what?
Yes, y'all do.
Created what?
If any motherfucker back here get into some shit like chemical bio warfare,
Okay.
toxicology, you know why you doing it.
What was made?
They made one of the things that they made was the HIV, the AIDS virus,
Hmm.
and
Right. Which Bill
they
What's
Gates.
going on?
Which Bill Gates.
biological warfare,
Mhm.
antigen
Right.
stuff to attack black people.
Another one was ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas was just making shit, and then a lot of
It
them
was
was
what they
denying and
good.
talking about we don't know why we were doing this. We were just testing things because bombs fell, and we wanted to see how it reacted to humans.
Don't 365
Y'all know why y'all
got
was
that
doing
song?
that
I've been taking ecstasy with another nigga next to me. You know what I'm saying?
shit.
Promote
Nah, real talk.
warfare.
I like the one that's how I remember it. The one doctor that was talking about the ecstasy, he was like, "Nah, I created that shit because we were at war with these black people, and they were getting the best of us, and we needed something to make them docile, make them react like this and calm down and all that type of shit." And
Well,
I mean, that's honest. But I ain't like at the end when motherfuckers is trying to say they ain't know why they was doing this, and we hope that everything was destroyed or most of it was destroyed, but we're unclear. Y'all ain't unclear.
nigga, y'all not a clear.
Y'all
Y'all
know
got
what
that.
the
It
Y'all
fuck
got that
is.
shit.
going
Y'all
It
got that shit put up.
is.
Y'all
on. They
got
got
that.
that hush
They
money.
got they got that shit put up somewhere.
No,
That's
it
exactly
is
what it
Man,
without the
is.
no,
death.
and also, Jalen, they got that hush money.
Of
Don't say
course.
shit.
Yeah, of course.
It
Of course.
is
Of
without the
course.
death being arrested
But
and
but but like I said though, but like yeah, like all that
they
shit was
brought
funny, bro. Like
and he's
there's a whole interview.
here.
There was a whole interview that came out last year where they was talking about the AIDS epidemic
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
oh yeah. They
And
gave the
they
they
and
gave the
they
amount. They
and
said
they
a
said
hundred million euros.
We
and they
just watched
said
the
that
people
they said
okay.
Bill Gates. They say Bill Gates and what's old boy name? Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
Fauci.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
him. Both of yeah, it was both of them that planned that shit. That's like Bill Gates funded it, funded the research basically, and Fauci was the one that basically gave like the okay. Like they've been doing, like
Yeah,
I said.
because in order to do anything, you need that man with the bag or the purse, and you need the intelligent genius.
Mhm. What it is that like you said, like all that stuff was made to attack us and whatnot.
All that shit is everything they was describing in that video was
Mhm.
made to attack
It
niggas.
was it was made
And it
to
was
attack.
only one
It
doctor and one toxicologist that was honest about that shit.
it was made
Everybody else was trying to make it seem like, oh, we're just doing this for war purposes. No.
it was made to attack the middle and poor class. That's what it was
Yeah,
made for. The
and
entire
mostly
purpose.
niggas.
I mean, but you
They,
got to think about the
they
middle, the
said
middle, and
that
the
documentary we
middle.
just watched. It
Mm,
was made just for black people. It was not made
mm,
for no.
People, and it was only two. Yeah, go ahead.
No matter what class, it was made for the niggas.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only it was one doctor and one toxicologist that was honest about that.
Come on.
All the other doctors they had on there was bullshitting. And yes, in the poor and middle class, it's mostly black, but they ain't
Mhm.
just talking about that. They talking about blacks around the world. Period.
Oh yeah,
Each
no, for sure.
generation.
Yeah, no, for sure, no, for sure. Like I said, it was made like you said for black people. Like I said, not just African Americans, but anybody that had fucking melanated skin. That's what that shit was. Was for. That's like you know what I'm saying. Like that's all it is, bro. Like I said, you get rid of the fucking melanin and shit like that, and these people die. Guess what you can start doing now? Harvesting they fucking melanin. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
But like you know what I'm saying. Like that's it. That's
And
it.
look what they and look to prove this. This is why I tell that video shows that Afi is not as crazy as people think. This is why I tell motherfuckers I don't take medicine. Because the pharmaceutical company is in on that shit too. What do they have in a pharmaceutical company now that houses the black gene and melanin? Melatonin pills and shit like that. They be grinding our asses up and putting it in pills, man.
Emac, what you smoking, Emac? For that's pork.
Ah man,
That's
not
pork you over there
ah
Emac,
smoking.
man.
Emac, I would like to hear your opinion on what you watch
He over there smoking pork toe.
before your attention span was shortened. Like,
Okay, so what I think is when the white man came in contact with Africans, they got the motherfucking simian virus. Then it transmitted to the human virus. Then we studied it. Then we started using it as a weapon. Because remember, all the things that we found in Africa, we use it. It's a resource. So they used it after they developed what you call AIDS. That's why you see motherfuckers hitting motherfuckers with that needle and shit, like Easy E and shit. Went straight from full blown AIDS past HIV, transmitted quickly and just developed it. So I think the white man probably took it down to its molecular structure and then made it stronger and then gave it to people and shit. And then I think they had the vaccine for it. I don't know if the viruses have vaccines or shit like that or the cure for it. That's why like Magic Johnson had AIDS for so long and he ain't dead yet.
Perfect example.
Nigga, Magic Johnson, nigga, never even fucking got that shit. They kicked that nigga out the motherfucking league because he was fucking making too much fucking money. That's exactly what that shit was. Same thing with fucking Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
And he was fucking hoe.
Bro, he was
That's
fucking,
it.
bro, he was fucking all the GM's bitches.
I
Go,
disagree.
go,
That's
go,
it.
go,
Ain't
That's
go
it.
back,
Jordan.
go back
He
and
wasn't fucking
Y'all need
regular
to
women. He
highlight
was
the
fucking the bosses and the oppressors
exactly. You know what I'm
bitches and
saying? Like
daughters
that's
and
what
shit.
yeah, brother, that's what he was on, bro. Like that's the reason why, bro, like nigga, back then, bro, they hated Wilt Chamberlain. Like they hated that nigga. They hated Wilt Chamberlain, nigga. Like, nigga, it's a fucking reason why, bro. But like, just like with Jordan, bro, and that whole thing when when he quote unquote retired, man, that nigga didn't fucking retire, bro. That nigga was fucking gambling. He was gambling and shit, and he was winning. He was making too much
Well,
fucking money.
he got sick, bro. You can't play basketball and have AIDS, bro. This is it fucks with you, bro. That's not. I think you going off of
Magic
something else.
Johnson, no,
I
I'm
think
telling
you're
you,
going off
Nah,
your
they trying to
feelings,
say
brother.
they trying to say he never had AIDS. I think he did, but
I don't think he did. I think, like I said, I think they had him do that shit, and they was like, man, look, bro, just go ahead and take an easy ass retirement and disappear from the game. You feel
I
me?
don't know about that, bro. I
Like
don't know about that. And I think that the AIDS also are more prone to African people. I think they carry more AIDS than the population of other races.
they carry
Well, the
they definitely do. They
documentary
definitely do.
just told us clear as day
Mm,
why that is and what those scientists did and why they injected
mhm,
those people with that virus and why they
mhm.
came up with it. They came up with something to try to make them docile. That didn't work. And then that's when they came up with the AIDS, the HIV.
And then you in
So Ira, you think so? So the white
Sit
man
down.
It was a
created
biological
AIDS,
war.
or
Sit
did the
down.
AIDS
Yeah,
come
it was
from
a
the simian?
biological warfare.
But so the biological warfare, is it after or before
What do
they
you
got
mean?
the virus?
They injected the virus in the people.
But after or before they found out the virus?
How could
After,
you? I
but I
mean,
mean,
how could it be?
they created it. They came up with it in the lab. They took some.
But yeah, but after they found it, or before they found it,
Well, they had to.
They
they
before
created
they
it.
found, but before the original take was that they found this virus. That shit was never found. That's what I think that's what Aubrey's saying. Like that virus was never found. That virus was made, and they made up a lie. Think about how many
So
lies they fucking made. The first one they said that a nigga had sex with a monkey. The second one was that they said that niggas was chopping up fucking meat from animals and they were eating the fucking meat, and that's how they contracted it. Then there was another story. Then it was another. Like they keep changing the fucking story.
well, it's mythical that it's a myth. That's a myth that humans were fucking monkeys, and that's how they got it. That's what Afi
Right,
was saying. That goes to
then after
STD
that,
and STI. It's
but
not
then after that, they
HIV
said
is
that they were
transmitted to sex, but yeah, but it came from the monkey. It became a simian virus first, and then when the white man figured it out, and when people started getting it, they were like, "Well, we could use this as a chemical, like warfare. We're gonna start using
the
it on
only
people and start, um,
the only
coming up with
virus that I
virus and
know.
make money off of it."
Like this is my first time ever hearing the simian virus and everything, because all I knew was that mostly primates contracted a version of like hepatitis and like herpes or some shit. They had
Yeah.
it like you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Like I didn't know, I don't know nothing about the simian virus, so that's all new to me. But I know way before then, like primates normally had hepatitis and herpes and shit. But hey, who fucking knows and shit? Because this is my thing, bro. What fucking virus have you ever heard that can hide and mimic your DNA? I have never heard of no fucking virus, bro. That sounds like some fucking nanotech type shit.
What virus does
It
that?
is.
That's the HIV virus. That's exactly what happens. First, like I said, like as soon as it enters your, you know what I'm saying, into your body and stuff, it mimics your DNA.
Yep.
First, it hides in your cells, then it mimics your DNA. This is the
Mhm.
reason why the T cells is hard for the T cells to find it because it mimics your DNA.
Mhm.
But do you know what HIV stands for?
What does that matter?
Because if you don't understand what it actually means, I think you just sprouting out misinformation, brother.
There's
It's
not there's not mis bro. There's not
it it, it, it
misinformation. You
it makes
go
your
go
immune
go.
system deficient, brother, so you can't
Right,
fight
that's
off
Right.
other
understandable, but
sickness.
exactly,
That's
but
how
that's the
it,
thing though.
the
And what happens?
virus,
And what
the
fights? And
HIV virus don't
what
actually
fights the immune
kills
system?
you.
What
What
fights the immune
kills you
system?
is other viruses and other sickness, because
That's
you no
understandable,
longer can't
brother.
fight it off
But I
because of your white
understand
blood
that.
cells.
I understand it. But what I'm saying is that what alerts the white blood cells? What alerts it? The T cells, right?
Mhm.
T
Yeah.
cells, right? Okay.
Okay.
So in order for the T cells to what you call, like I said, it has to deal with DNA. Your DNA has to basically has to send out a signal. Like, hey, something's going on with the body. Send, you know what I'm saying? Hey, send the call out to the antibodies. If you cannot find the virus because it's hiding in the cells and mimicking your DNA, how the fuck can the T cells even say anything? So
I
then what
don't
happens? So then what happens is that's why it's called when you like I said anybody if you have ever met or worked with anybody with HIV or AIDS, because I have, the number one thing that the doctors say is that your T cell levels are low. You know what I'm saying? Your T cells is the main thing that alerts your antibodies. But because that the T cell, so the T cells are not alerting and the virus is feeding off the T cells, is killing the T cells. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're dying. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you that other, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like a cold, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have AIDS and, you catch a cold, yeah, that shit can be detrimental. That shit can be deadly. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that shit mimics, it hides in your cell and it mimics your DNA, throwing off your T
But
cells.
what
Then
do you mean mimic? Like
But
replicating, like,
it
or
replicates
looking
your
like it? Like,
DNA.
what do you mean?
Basically, it replicates your DNA. It replicates it. Look it up.
but
But
Jalen, y'all check this out. So
Uh-huh.
the herpes virus
Mm.
operates kind of the same, and they injected the herpes virus in so many people and told people like to let your child catch it if they didn't give your child a shot to catch the chicken pox from a friend, right? Like everybody need to go on and catch this. Well, what people that had the chicken pox, the herpes virus is dormant in their spine. And that's what, like people be like, oh, this person have herpes, that person have herpes, but they are injecting, and people, you know what I'm saying, thought that it was okay to get that virus because that's what.
You mean the vaccine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a difference between a vaccine and a
So
virus. The virus is
so
in the vaccine, but it's a
No,
little
this is what
different.
I'm saying.
so why
Not
so
is I don't think that it is.
so
That's
so
The
why
that's
thing
like if
is,
they gave you the
they just
vaccine for the COVID,
describe
you're gonna catch
how
COVID.
how it hides and replicates your DNA and all that type of stuff. And all I was just making a comparison of how that herpes virus, it
so
hides and is dormant in the spine. So when people test
mm-hmm.
positive for herpes, it's probably because they had chicken pox once, or they had a parent that had chicken pox, and it's dormant in their spine. So it depends on the level of it. So I just found
Mm-hmm.
that interesting in what he was saying. A lot of this
Like
stuff
so
in the body that becomes activated due to your diet or something like that. You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, so this is the thing, and this is what I was talking about, right? This is what I was saying, right?
Mhm.
Basically, bro, the HIV virus, you know what I'm saying, is an RNA virus. You know what I'm saying? It's an RNA. It carry, you know what I'm saying? So basically, RNA converts into DNA. You see what I'm saying? So if it's making, you know what I'm saying, RNA before the DNA is, you know what I'm saying, is being created. So, like that's what I'm saying. It's making,
Yeah,
like I said,
psoriasis could
it's
be
making a copy.
herpes.
It's making a copy.
Eczema could be herpes, but those things I think that came from Africa too. That's not a that came from apes and chimps.
Herpes, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, came, like I said, herpes was a form. But like I said, in the primates in Africa, it was like I said, it was a form of herpes. I just can't remember the fucking name, bro. Cause
Yeah, yeah.
I remember they were saying that like that shit spread it like fucking wildfire. That's why that's why like a lot of people of today in Africa are immune to herpes. Because like the shit's been, you know what I'm saying? Like the shit's been their DNA over generations. So then over time, you know what I'm saying, the next cells starts to pick up the memory of the old cells. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they always say. Your cells retain memories. So after such a while, it's like shit. Your T cells, your antibodies already know what this motherfucking thing is. So go ahead and get
Yeah,
this shit
yeah.
up out of here. So, but yeah, no, Aubrey was right, definitely. Like I said, like,
But see, your argument is saying is okay if these things are mimicking and replicating, it got to be made in the lab. It's not made in the lab. It came from the simian first.
it sounds like
You understand that, right? The,
I
the,
understand, like I
the
said,
AIDS
I
virus
understand.
wasn't just created through like white man fucking with it. You gonna give white man that power? Like if a motherfucker could develop something like that, that nigga got superpowers then, because he could kill
Bro, there's a
people, control
whole
people.
there's a
But
whole
what
well,
type of
video.
we know now
are you
about the
giving
real.
reverence
There's
to white people for creating these things? Nah, of
We
course not.
know
You give
about
them
some
too much
real.
credit, brother. White
how am
people
I giving
didn't
them
create this. It's, they
how are we
replicated it.
giving somebody credit, bro, when it's something that's fucking heinous as fuck to people? That's not giving credit. That's called bringing awareness. That's not
Mhm.
Yeah,
giving
but
fucking credit.
that's
That's
superpowers,
not
brother.
how
If I had
how
superpowers and I was able to kill bad people, then
nigga,
you're
do
gonna
you
blame
not
it on my
understand
Man,
that you can
superpowers.
that's the
manipulate
white
cells
man thing
itself?
to do,
Do you not
is to
understand that you can
try to.
manipulate cells? Like anybody, bro, scientists can manipulate cells. What
Right.
are we talking about?
That's God level, brother.
Bro,
What
hold
other
on. Wait
people
a
do
minute.
that?
What
What
are we
other
talking?
race of people do these type of
What
things?
exactly? White people, like I said,
Right.
because I okay.
All
So
people
again,
does
so
it,
how,
but the
So how
problem
so
is
so
the
how
problem
okay.
is
so how
This is
they
my
came
thing.
from the Caucasus Mountains and some caves
I
and
never
came out
said
with
this
some
shit
god
came from
power.
the
That's
fucking Caucasus
crazy.
Mountain, the Caucasus
well,
Mountains,
they
brother.
did, but
I
the
said
problem is other people doesn't use the science to for corruption to do, to kill
exactly.
people. Most people use the science and the intelligence to heal, to grow, to nurture. You get what I'm saying? But
They do that too.
because the
But
pills,
you
yes, but they use, but they
They got the cure and they got the virus. So who's playing God
so
mode? They could use it any
so
time on you.
and so then who? Okay, so again, so who's not playing God then?
Black
Are they
people's
not
not
playing
playing God
God?
because they didn't develop it to what it
But
is today.
until what it is today, right?
they are playing the adversary when it comes to.
Until what it hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, because if that was the case, that shit should have stayed. Why the fuck that shit didn't stay in fucking Africa then? How the fuck it got all the way over here?
Right. And here's the thing about,
There's no primates
but
out
see,
here.
here's the thing about
There's no primates.
gods.
And
Because
then
you're
hold
making
on,
it
Ivory.
one
And
God,
then
you're making it one God.
last time I checked, we're not. And last time I checked, we're not butchering primates and eating them. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
So
you
again, how
are.
no,
Yeah, you are. I'm
not over
literally
here,
I
not over
literally got
here,
a hold
not
on,
over
brother.
here,
I
not
literally
over
got a
here.
video of black people in Africa tribes are cooking up
Are
and
we
eating
talking about
and
over
and
here?
eating
Okay.
up raw monkeys, brother. We got the
Are
videos
we
for
talking
you.
about over here? How
Hold
did
on
it get
before
over
the
here?
conversation go too far. Because when you say that that's God level, well, the people that's not using the science for destruction is on God level also, because there are multiple gods. There's war gods, like the God that they're worshiping, coming up with this biological warfare and stuff. And then there's gods who are here to replenish, who are here to add value to life and not take away. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. There is people in power who are good and people in power who are bad. But however, the white man does both. He is the angelic and he is the devil. He's the both for the balance,
It's the
the
white.
negative
You can't just say
and the positive.
because they're
It's just if
also they just not corrupt. Some of them.
it,
Some
but
of them.
they have so when they developed the antivirus, they have the cure. Why you think Magic Johnson doesn't have AIDS anymore? He
Who
should
said
have
he don't
been
have
dead.
AIDS anymore?
He should have been dead. He don't have it no more.
We don't know that, but they said that Dr. Savy, a black man, a black guy, cured him.
Same thing with Michael Jackson. Same thing with Lisa
This is
Left Eye.
before Dr. Sebi. And Dr. Sebi, he was saying some off the wall change that not doctors are saying.
Dr. Sebi
And
started coming out around what 2000 what two three
Mm-hmm.
right.
that's
You know what I'm saying? About like
that was
2001,
before.
about 2001, 2002.
That's when the people
Michael,
started noticing
hold on.
him.
Magic Johnson, right. Right. This is another thing though, but the first person whoever broke the silence, and which we already know was Left Eye.
Left
Then
eye.
Michael Jackson came, and when Michael Jackson said something, you knew that everybody was gonna follow what that nigga said. We all know this. Anything I'm saying, like, like we know this. So who's to say that he didn't cure him? You know what I'm saying? Who's to
He
say that he
didn't
didn't? And
because
then on top,
when the actual
mhm,
scientists actually looked at what he was doing, he wasn't curing people. He just used black people emotions, brother. You can't
no,
you
no,
gotta
hell no. I'm
differentiate
not about to
someone
sit
a
here.
real
I'm not about to sit
shamanist
here
and
and
someone
let.
who's
I'm not about to sit
acting.
here and let nobody. You know what I'm saying? Discredit that man's work, bro. No, we're not about to sit here and do that. We're just not. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to
We're
argue with.
not
I'm not
gonna
about to argue
discredit
with
his
you.
work.
I'm not about to argue with you, bro. But see, this is the thing, though, bro. Human nature, bro. Like I said, and I'm a big believer of that. You know what I'm saying? It has shown multiple times, even with white people, even with white men who came out with cures that were speaking about cures of cancer, they ended up fucking dying out of fucking nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So no,
But
I'm not about to sit here and
remember,
discredit
science
that
is a
man's work.
trial and error, brother. You know what I'm saying? There's
But
gonna
what
be
I'm saying is,
casualties.
is that if you go do your history back in the early 2000s, we had a cure for cancer. Like I said, it was damn near there, and a white man was killed. Two, three of them ended up fucking dying mysteriously in their
So you saying
prime,
they're hitting them?
bro. Come on, bro. This is about, we're talking about a pharmaceutical type of drug, bro. What is the point of healing everybody? And you know what I'm saying? And everybody healed. That means nobody ain't gonna have need no medicine. We're not making no money to have people dying and then putting the fear that, hey, you need this medicine to buy. Whole time that medicine that you're buying is also killing you. Like I said, it's all I can say. At the end of the day, I hear what you saying and shit, but let's go ahead and keep this shit a buck filth, bro. Go ahead and keep this shit a buck filth. The shit, the people that's in motherfucking government, politics, in high classes, at the end of the day, it don't matter about fucking race. It matters about what your fucking class is. And if you're not in the fucking high class, guess what? You in that motherfucking pot, nigga. You, like I said, you in that pot. They don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, about your belief. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying, about how you feel. If you don't got that bread, we don't give a fuck about that. So again, I'm not saying, like I said, so again, I'm not about to sit here and, you know what I'm saying, and discredit these white men who y'all say who came, who, you know, that discovered the shit for cancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to discredit it because they did and they were killed. Dr. Sebi sat there and said, use soursop shit, you know what I'm saying, to cure, you know what I'm saying, mostly a fucking cancer. I gave my homegirl that. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this will help, but here's some soursop shit. You know what I'm saying? They said this shit good for cancer. You know what I'm saying? My ex-girlfriend, I can call her right now, swear to God, on my dead fucking son. She was working with a nigga, a woman named Miss Janice. She had breast cancer. Miss Janice was drinking fucking soursop every fucking day. Vegetable soursop, that's all she was fucking drinking. She went back to the doctor, she didn't have no more breast cancer. What are we talking about? Like, people see him want to discredit, you know what I'm saying, want to discredit herbs and shit because a fucking black man fucking said it. But let a fucking white man fucking said that shit, nobody wouldn't be saying shit.
All right, so this is the big problem, right? When white people come up with medicine, they use in nature different types of compounds. Like for example,
So,
antibiotics.
and
They
again,
use it.
I'm not
Hold on, brother.
discrediting
I
you.
let you
I'm
go.
not
You gotta let me
discrediting.
go. You don't want me to crash out. I don't want you to crash out.
I
Let
don't
me
give a
go.
fuck about you
We'll
crashing
go
out.
back
All
and
I
forth.
gotta do is
Let's
just
go
hang
back and
up.
forth. Hold on.
What we talking about?
Let me get in line after whoever goes.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
brother. You got this.
Daron, I got you. Let me go real quick. So the whole point is that Dr. Sebi didn't have the credentials to cure people because he was pseudo. He was making fake medicine to make money off of people. He wasn't actually curing people. If he actually was curing people, then it would be evidence and documented as he was curing people like doctors did. He would have some type of
So how did
degree.
he beat the Supreme Court?
Hold on. Let me finish real quick. So with his medicine he was compounding and using, they weren't official medicine. There weren't official things that could actually cure things. When you dealing with the white man, he created the antibiotics. He was using bacteria to fight bacteria. So this is why he make vaccine. He makes vaccine and he affects you with it because the vaccine has the actual virus in it. So he leave? Oh, okay, so there. So no, Dr. Sebi was not official. He was not doing the things that he claimed he did. There was not no documentations. Period.
Okay,
All right, Deron,
somebody,
you good?
yeah, about to say, yeah, you got
Now the
it.
other brother was next. I'll go after him. He was trying to say something.
Oh no, you got it, brother. I ain't saying shit.
Oh, okay. No, I just who's that just speaking? Was that Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Emac. What up, bro?
What's up, bro? Hey, it sounds like you got when you say you call the white man God. It sounds like you've given him power and believe everything that he has done. Not to say it's good or bad, but just to say that he's the only person that can do it. What Sebi was trying to do first is to get into the minds of the people and then change their thoughts and reality of what we were eating. That's why I was changing people to become vegan. He was telling you, eat your fruits and vegetables. These are all the things that will combat all of these diseases that they've given us. So when we go to put that stuff in our bodies and then we continue to eat that, Sebi was trying to tell you, come out of that. And if you come out of that, then you can restore your body. Like the brother talked about the sour sop. Another thing is to alkaline your body. There's cases where people changed and started to alkaline their body, which Sebi was heavy on, alkalizing the body. these Caucasian people know that that will cure and kill cancer because the cancer cells cannot thrive in an alkalized body. So that's why they make you throw your pH off and what you eat, what you drink, and they don't give you anything that has any vital life in it. So that's why, in my belief, that they killed that man because what he was saying, maybe he wasn't curing people at a rapid rate, but neither does these drugs. All they do is slow it down and then give you another side effect. So when you say they're using compounds and things of that nature, you may go in there for your, like you guys were talking about AIDS or herpes. The next thing you know, you got kidney failure. So this their whole process is about death. It's not about life. They create it, they give you the antivirus or the drug, and they push it on you. But they never tell you how not to even acquire it. And that's what Sebi was doing, in my personal opinion.
That's right.
And
And I,
I just I just you know what, yeah, no wait, go ahead, Eric. You got it.
No, no, I
You got
was
it.
saying the Ron. I wasn't saying that God is the white man is God. I was saying to them that, well, if he created these viruses, then you giving reverence to him as if he is God, because he has the power to kill, destroy, and to heal whatever he puts
well,
out. And
check
not
this
that I
out.
was calling the white man God. I was saying that y'all should just might as well call him God for what he's doing. And another
Well,
thing,
what
Dr. Sebi took a lot of his teachings from a Native American shamanist, and he tried to take what he learned from him and tried to create his own medicine and kind of take people's money. He that's what he was doing.
Well,
can you show
what does drugs,
I,
what does prescriptions do all day, every day to these people? Take people's money. That's all it does.
Yeah.
But this is why when
But
you
he's
make something
healing
a
people.
god, that's why I don't believe in gods. You giving power to something. All that means is power and force. Like I said, what Sebi was trying to do, he was trying to change the thought process. He's trying to get you to understand if you think you sick, you will be sick. Most people, once they find out that that cancer has hit them, they go into a paralyzed state of mind and they don't
Mhm.
have the strength to say they can fight this, and they start to believe they're going to die. Then that settles into your body, and then your body coincides with it. You
I
got to
never
come out of that thought
seen
process.
anyone heal from any type of disease or anything on their own. That's you can eat the good you want, watermelons, cherries all day, but that
Can-
virus or that cancer is not going to go on its own. You need medicine for that.
I tell you what, and then I'll back off after this. You ever
Yeah.
heard of what a fissure is?
No.
You know what a fissure is? All right, a fissure, years ago, I had what is called a fissure. A fissure is something that's inside you and it cuts you from the inside. And when I would go to the bathroom, it would be pools of blood. I was scared to go to the bathroom. So I finally went to the doctor. When I went to the doctor, the lady was like, she let me know what it was. She told me about how long the fissure was. So then she said they would have to do surgery. So then I started to think something's deeper than this. So I changed my diet, and that's when I became a vegan 26 years ago. When I changed my diet, that fissure healed. So I didn't need that medication. I changed what was passing through my body, started fasting and doing things to and drinking the proper things and no more animal, because the animal, when it lives inside you, it's hard to break down. So when it's coming through, it's ripping it in my case, it was ripping through me. So just saying, you can heal from stuff without the aid of a physician if you think deep inside and try to figure out and study and try to figure out a way to do it. I'm not saying that's guaranteed. I was blessed to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. So let's say if I had strep throat, you think I could get myself out of that if I fast and eat good,
I
or if I had
definitely did that
cancer?
before. I definitely did it before. I definitely done that.
I
Like
did
eating
too.
antibiotics. Yeah, yeah, that's easy. That's easy to get rid of.
Yes, I
Nah,
Bro,
did, bro.
bro,
Yes, I
real
did.
talk. Hey, look, hey, look,
nah,
hey,
bro.
look, hey,
That shit
look,
does
hey,
not
look.
go on your own, bro. That could, if you have it still, you're gonna cause problems in your body,
A strip?
like a
What I
strep throat or
Man,
anything that's bacterial.
man, look, I'm telling you, bro. I don't gotta sit here and lie, bro. You
lozengers.
know what I'm saying? We all
Yep.
we all grown. All I did, bro, was fucking lemon water and fucking eat garlic
See,
and
I
ate
didn't do
clean.
that.
And ate clean because what happens is that because garlic gives off amoxicillin. It's a psyllin. You know what I'm saying? We know what psyllins do. So that's what I was just eating. I just constantly kept eating that shit and drinking lemon water to make sure that my gut was clean. You know what I'm saying? If push come to shove, I detox. You know what I'm saying? I detox my colon. That's most of the time where all your damn diseases, you know, what I'm saying, your sickness to start is in your colon. Detox your colon. I do my shit every 6 months. My ex will tell you I do not get sick. I've really been sick. The last time I got sick was whenever me and her were dating in the very beginning, like first week of dating. Since then, I
Yeah.
have not been sick. So you can definitely be strep throat. That shit easy. Now cancer, like I said, I've seen people be cancer using herbs.
Yeah,
Herpes,
it's
never
definitely
seen it.
alternative.
You know what I'm saying? I never seen it.
Nah, nah,
Never seen it.
nah. Never
You know what I'm
seen
saying?
that, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I said, but like
it
but
definitely has
strep throat,
happened.
yes.
Strip throat, yeah. Only thing I say with my strip throat, I did use NyQuil. That's the only thing I did, so I sleep.
That's crazy.
Other than that, I
And
didn't go. I never went to the doctor. I put
did you do
Vicks
the
on my
salt water?
chest.
Did
I
you do
did
the salt
salt
water?
water warm. Yep, I
Yeah.
did the salt water, Himalaya salt water, warmed
Hell
it up.
yeah.
Tea.
The Himalayan joint.
Um, yeah, and it
Man,
took like
Deron,
7 days. It took 7 days for
About
it
a
in a
week.
humidifier.
About
Yeah,
a
it took
week.
7 days for it to come out of me, and it was in a
that's
humidifier.
crazy.
That's real talk, bro. My wife would tell you, I don't take any medicine. She'll tell you, I don't take any medicines.
We can't hear you that good, King Tuff.
Um,
We can't
Where
hear
he
you
come
that
from,
good,
my
dog.
man, 50 grit.
Back out and come back in or something. We can't hear you.
I said, now y'all talking my language, man. Sipping that purple stuff, man.
man,
When I
get
get drunk,
your
can't
ass
see
on.
the doctor.
Everybody talk
I
about
tell that
no
nigga, hey,
purple
I
stuff,
need that. I be leaning. I be straight, like
pancake and syrup having self. What
Sick,
up,
my nigga,
Steph?
my nigga.
Bro, no wonder that shit be making your ass slow, bro. You drink too much motherfucking syrup, bro.
I
Stop
don't.
drinking that
Yo,
shit.
that stuff is killing them.
What killing
Sadly,
is?
some of these young boys are waking up though. Some of them are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They gotta go through the hard way though.
Yeah, well, you got to detox that stuff. That's
Mhm.
heroin.
Yeah,
That stuff got
yep.
to come through your body, and that's liquid heroin. That's like if you smoke it,
Mhm.
liquid. That's in your blood. You got to.
Bro, the reason them niggas dying is because them niggas drank that shit all day, every fucking day, bro. You can't drink that shit like that. That shit clog up your fucking kidneys and have your ass with a shit bag.
Bro, you
You know
can't
what I'm
drink
saying?
it.
So you if
Period.
you sip that shit, it gotta be like
Nah,
literal moderation,
Isn't
like
it? Isn't
literal
it
nah. It
moderation.
ain't
medicine?
gotta be nothing. Yeah, it's
Isn't it
actually
medicine?
it's like a cough syrup. What is that stuff called? It's because we started it up here in the PA
Promethazine?
area. Yeah, it's like promethazine. We
Yeah.
started it in PA. They called it pancakes and syrup. So you would take
Mm.
2 pills and a cap, and that's how that started a long time ago. And now they've graduated to make it even stronger, and
Nah,
now
hold on. I
adding
can't let hold on. I can't let you get away with
sweetener.
that, bro. I can't let you get away with
I'm
that.
telling you,
We
that's the
started this
real
in H time. We started
man.
that in H
Please.
time. Sip and drink, bro. We ain't finna do that. We ain't finna
But
go there, bro.
I
That's a
tell you
whole
what,
nother war.
I ain't gonna fight you with it.
Yeah,
It's
I know
what
you
it
ain't though,
is.
because
Whatever
you
you
gonna
want it.
lose.
No, no, not that. I'm just not gonna fight you about nothing death. So
Oh.
wherever it started, it shouldn't be here. And you sitting up here talking about if it's how you do it. It's crazy to me.
Goddamn
Ain't no
right,
way
cause
to
it's the
do
H
it.
time, bro. It's H time, bro. City of serve, bro. That's what we is, man. Barbados. That's what we
Yeah.
do, bro.
No, you better get out of there. My children live in H Town. They don't do it.
But didn't the drinking syrup wasn't it popularized by hip hop in Texas and Houston?
I've always heard up here in Philadelphia, well before there.
Mm.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
that's
Eddie
what. Yeah, that's
Kendricks.
what we. That's where it started from. That's how it got popularized. But old folks like my grandmother and my grandfather, they used to drink that shit straight out the bottle. You know what I'm saying? But we started mixing it with syrup, and I mean mixing it with soda and sipping it. But we was the only state that really did it. It was like a Texas thing. Nobody else around the city that we knew did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the double cups and all that
Yeah,
shit
that.
came from.
Yeah,
Big Bro, that's all
100%.
that shit came from us.
But what's it? The OJs. I forget which one it was. This OJs or one of the. I think it was David Ruffin. He died in Philadelphia in a crack house because of that. I believe that's
Damn.
who it was. It was pancake and syrup that killed him. So that's why I said that stuff's been around a while here.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Deron. But
It's,
dumb mixing it with soda, that's definitely a
that's
Houston
dumb.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
dumb.
dumb.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
definitely dumb. I didn't know what he was talking about, but he told me if you're mixing it, yeah, that did not originate up here. But the drinking that cough syrup and taking them pills, that codeine and them painkillers, they
Mm-hmm.
called it pancake and syrups. And that's what their breakfast was.
Interesting.
Yeah, these people crazy, man.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. You
Anything to
said that's
get
like
high.
synthetic heroin.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's crazy. That's
Anything
why
to
they
get
be
high.
slow. Right. Yeah, if you look at people on heroin, they be slow, like sleeping. That's what it like. That's what they look like.
Yeah, I mean that's big up here. Like
Yeah.
they even we have like a strip where they do pretty much everywhere, I'm sure. But we have a strip, and most of these guys they got the narc cams or whatever they call those things, so you can punch them with them. They all up and down this one street, or then they just in the hoods. You'll just see people standing on the corner, can't even fall, bent over for like 20 seconds, and he don't even drop or she don't even drop. I'm like, this is impossible. And they're out of it, completely out of it, but will not fall off their feet. I do not understand that. Never seen the dope fiend lean fall.
Yeah, I seen
So that's why you said that they gotta sweat it out. Like heroin, they need
Go sit
when they
down, man.
detox, they sweat that shit out.
Yeah, it was this guy. I had to do a couple weeks in jail for acting like a nut one time, and I was never used to any of that type of life. So I'm in the room in the cell, and the guy, because it was packed, he was on a bed on the floor, and he just started going crazy, heaving and sweating and doing all this stuff. And I had no clue what was wrong with the guy. And he's like, "Brother, I'm sorry. Don't pay no attention to me." He said, "I'm just going through withdrawal. I'm coming off that H." I was like, wow. Because I had never experienced someone around, I'd never been around anybody that was on it or trying to get off it. And weed does the same thing. All drugs will have you a serious detox if you use it enough.
Yeah, if you do it a lot.
Prescription. Yeah, prescription, anything. You're going to go through withdrawal
Yeah,
because your body's hitting the shock.
true.
That's why we got to be more mindful of what we put in our body. If people, like I was hearing you talking, brother, when you was talking about God, if people really knew that the creator lived inside you, with you, this whole world will change for those that really believe and really looking to be on the right side of life. They would literally, you wouldn't give yourself alcohol. I mean, I used to drink, smoke a little weed, that's as far as I ever went. But as I gradually became wiser, I knew that which is the temple. And when they speak about the temple, even I'm doing a paper now when they said Yahweh didn't have a temple, so they had to build Yahweh a temple. But it's not really a God floating around in this universe people have made their God. It's actually when you come in and that breath that's in you, that is the creator giving you that life and literally right with you.
But
Literally.
Deron, didn't the first sentence of Genesis saying that God was floating in the abyss of space? I would think
I
that
don't know
God's
about the
spirit is floating
abyss.
around.
I don't know about the abyss of space. What I do know is in Genesis 1, 2, or 3, it says, and the spirit was placed upon the face of the water. But that's a different, that spirit's for something else to be used. But what I'm referring to is inside of us, we're born in a positive and a negative energy. So anything that we do positive, that would be for our higher nature. Anything that we do negative, it deals with our lower nature. So what we call Satan or the devil, that's our lower nature. What we call a God or a creator, that's our higher nature. So when we get rid of this lower nature, you'll come to find out who that one is in your upright nature. But right now, there's so many powers and forces to be that are grabbing at us. We have to get rid of them. But only you can do that. Nobody can do that for you. Like if you was an alcoholic, somebody was on crack, somebody was on weed, somebody was a sexaholic, somebody was a food addict, all 5 or 6 different people all have an addiction to something. And that addiction is what they need to get rid of in order to see who they really are inside themselves and to continue to get rid of all the negative stuff. But I always tell people fight your biggest battle first. And then when you
You
kill
know,
that side of you,
well, I think that the Bible was made for people who are like, bad people. More power to them if they use the Bible as motivation as they got them through whatever they were going through. There's more power to them. But
mhm.
in reality, it's not really God doing it. It's the inner man doing it. The sanctuary. That's you're the
Yeah.
one that's giving reverence to yourself to getting out of it. If you start giving it to a exterior force, you no longer have the power to do it because it's the force that you said that is making them do it. It's not really the force; it's the indoctrination that's giving them the idea that God is doing it for them. But they in reality, they're really done doing it. They got themselves out of those problems. They just don't know it.
Well, I agree that it's you physically doing it, but it's the spirit that's inside the flesh that is resolving it. You don't think for yourself, essentially.
Hmm.
Essentially, your thoughts, they have what I don't know if you ever heard of archons,
Yeah,
and
the
they call
angels.
them like the demiurge. Yeah, they call them like demiurges, angels, and they're
Yeah.
testers. So they can spark it. Like you could be just sitting around, and all of a sudden, like me the other day, I fast every day. So what was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Food was just on my head heavy, and I couldn't fight the urge. And I actually ate before the sun went down, but I should have fought it. So you'll go through that type of battle, but it's you against you, but it's whatever power that you would side with is the power that resides with you. So when I fell and ate, I resided with my lower nature. I let my flesh control what my mind and my spirit should have crushed. So
Mm.
that's how I view it. Every day when I wake up, it's going to be myself against my negative self. And the more my positive and my upright self beats my lower nature, the stronger I become in my upright nature.
Yeah, that's what the Bible's saying. The beast nature of man versus the God part of man. Because like you said, is the image of God is man, but however, it starts to become where people mix in mythology with spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two different
Mhm.
things. You start going to the spirit, and you said it was the spirit that made that person get out of whatever they were doing. You see what I'm saying? I agree with that. That's why the Bible is used to get people out of things because they're being bad. You know what I'm saying? A person who do good wouldn't need the Bible. They wouldn't need to uh, look for those type of savior. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
100%. And I look
Yeah.
at it, the best way to look at it is look at it as the 3 parts of the mind. You have a unconscious state, you have a subconscious state, and then you have a conscious state. What happens is we reside mainly in our unconscious state as a fallen people with subconscious ways. But then when you awaken to the consciousness, that's the power. That's the creator right there. So you have a subconscious, which would be you. You have a unconscious, which is the lower level of you, the spirit of the lower level. We like to dwell, unfortunately, not by nature, but by force. That's why it says when you're born into sin and iniquity. So before you're born, you don't have any sin. As you're in the womb, there's no sin upon you, but you're alive. But when we come out here, we start to take on the sins of the world. And some people may take on, like you were just saying, some people may take on 10 sins. You might have other people taking on 50 sins. But no matter what, you still have sins. So both parties would have to try to get back to being sinless. And it's actually possible. We can actually be free from sin. It's just you resisting it. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a mindset.
This is one of the problems I have, right? A sinning comes from the negative part, which is the moon goddess Inanna,
Mm-hmm.
which is sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mesopotamia is the negative part.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the sun Ra or Shamash, who is the light, which is you know what I'm saying. I know you fuck with the mystical shit, you know, which is the Corona, which is the Kathor, it's the crown, right? Like you said, that's the godly level. Yes, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? However, when it comes to, like, let's say God, how can I say this? It's like you you will have to like say that you are God in a way because you are the creator of God. The whole thing of God comes from man. You know, he put himself in a book, and you know he made an image of God. God made an image of him. But this is another problem. Without the book, how do you know if you're sinning? How would people in Australia, before they got the Bible, how would they know if they're sinning? You know what I'm
Nature.
saying?
I believe nature would tell you. I believe you're in, like, let's
But
just
there is
say,
no good or bad in nature, because nature is bad and good. It could kill you or it could create you.
well, I'm not saying as far as good or bad in that case, if you're using sin in that case. And if something takes your life away from nature, then that would be, from my standpoint, someone not being educated, meaning you can eat a poisonous mushroom. Doesn't mean that you were being bad. It just means you happen to want to eat a vegetable or a fruit or whatever the case may be. But in that fruit, it did not go well with you, and it could poison you and close up your throat. Now, as far as gods, I don't believe in gods. I believe in just the creator. I know who gods are. Humans are gods. Drugs are gods. They have these fallen spirits that roam throughout, going in and out of people that are gods. So I only believe in one creator. And that's why if you ever hear me talking, I always give my reverence back to I, who is my creator, my guide, my teacher.
The
So
I
yes,
God.
huh?
I said the I God. I remember you and me
Yeah,
was
but I never
talking
say
about that.
God though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
never say
It is,
God.
it is the I.
Yeah, yeah, just I.
So
And
Deron,
because
let me
because
ask you
there's
a
nothing.
question. That's pretty
Sure.
interesting that you said that the creator. So do you believe in a intelligent design or designer? Is that the creator or?
Yes, yes, yes. 100%. I mean, it would be hard not to, considering look how technical of a people we are. I mean, for people to think or believe that this is all happenstance when you could look 50 years, 60, 70, 100 some odd years ago, look at the difference from the 21st century to the 16th, 15th, 13th century. Look how long they stayed in a way that was archaic. And now look at us today. It's because you're in a different time. The creator who myself teaches of, who is I, the spirit, is here, and it's changing guards. So the one that had 6,000 years to rule is going away, and all the things of it. So this is how come we're so much wiser and smarter now. But the negative part of it, as we grow and get smarter, so does that negative people grow and get smarter. But we got to outsmart them and do our job and stop letting them do our job for us. We got to stop following, give back their stuff. When I do my next presentation, I'm going to bring out a plan for us how we can make this world as a people, just black people at first, make the United States economy lose $1 billion if we do a couple of different things. And it would increase the money in your household until we can come out of this lie. But the first thing we have to do is take our power back. But it requires change. And it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
True, true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the,
But let me kind of touch up. So this is what it says about intelligent design. It says it originated as a modern anti-evolutionary movement in the United States during the 1980s and the 1990s, emerging as a rebrand alternative to creationism after legal setbacks. And then it goes on to the person who started this. And
I can
but
believe that.
but if you refer to something as an intelligent design, you will go into indoctrination of a white man.
No, that's not an indoctrination of a white man. If you see your ability to learn and grow, because we're made in the image and the likeness of the true creator. We're made to be wise. We're not made to be dumb. The only reason why you said the Caucasian man is because he wrote that. But the original man already knew that because
So
I
the
didn't I
white
didn't know
man. So
anything
you
about
wouldn't think
the
that. So you wouldn't think that the white man is God.
I think he's a lesser. I think he's the devil from the spirit of the fallen angels. He is the worker bee for that one. But his God is a spirit that guides them. And they're what are called devils and looking as if they are gods. Just like we can't be the creator, but we are the manifestation of the creator in the flesh, which we would just, and just for terms, we would just say good people looking for good and not evil, but we're
But
not the creator. And that's the same thing with humans that are on the other side. That's why I teach about binary numbers. And I teach there's I that's the creator. And then all through the Bible, when you see, oh God, oh Lord, and then you have people who are of O. So there's going to be a division of who belongs to I and who belongs to O. O is the negative. It has no value. It's a leech, and that's what that O God is. The O is something that's voided. And in Genesis 1, 2, where I was just talking about, it says it is voided. How to say fell with no void, or it was another word, but it
well,
was
so
talking about yes, sir.
so this is the problem, right? When you're dealing with the O, I'm glad you said it doesn't have any value, but the value of the O is infinity because if you look at the O, it represents the Ouroboros, and it's the serpent eating himself from the beginning to the end, which would be the Alpha and Omega, which is the serpent. So, if anything, if you say the devil is God, then that means the white man is God because the white man is the devil, just like as you
Yeah,
said, who is the serpent, who is the
I agree
wise
with
of them
that.
all.
But the O is an infinite. It's not because it's locked. It's closed. The only thing that's infinite would be an I because you can draw that forever, and it's no end to it. But with the O, it's just a circle. Once you go around and hit the next dot point, it's completed. So it has an end.
That's what I'm saying. It has no value because it has no beginning and it has no end.
It no, it does have a beginning. It does have a
Where?
beginning. When you're doing an O, right? You put your pen on the pencil on the paper and you go around 360 degrees. After that 360 degrees is completed, you're right back to where you started from, which means it's complete. When you look
So
at the eye, which can run, if you go to draw an eye on a paper and start from the bottom, you could never stop. The only thing that would stop is paper. but you can run that forever. That has no end. It has a beginning, but no end.
I could kind of see what you're saying, because if you physically draw the O, but this is not
Right.
physical.
That's
This
well,
is more like the whole point of the Ouroboros is there is no start, there is no finish. Because
but
remember,
if you can,
if you started from your dad's sperm and then you die, there's people that believe that you don't die. So there is no ending, no beginning.
well,
That's what the Ouroboros.
the only thing that doesn't die is the spirit of the creator. Everything, the energy, that's what doesn't die. When we go back to what was made before us, which is the earth. The spirit goes back to the originator of the spirit, the energy, which is the creator.
And African teachings, they say the same thing. They say that the nature energies or the nature of things is the God of all of us. Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say God. But yeah, we would, if, not to harp on that, because I know people
Right.
don't understand what I mean, but yeah, it's because everything, what I try to explain, this is nothing but a lease. We have a lease on life. Our flesh is not ours. We are to take care of it. And then the spirit that resides in the flesh is not ours. The only thing that we actually own is our names. That's ours.
And we don't even
So when,
own those, because if you go in different countries, you could change it so they become surnames. So really, we're actually just renting everything.
well, what I mean by that
Right.
is when time comes to an end for us physically, the only thing that we would have to keep us alive,
Oh,
like we
yes.
talk about Noah, Adam,
The memory,
Jesus,
the memory of our names. Yes.
that
People
yeah,
like
our
if
names
any.
and what they did.
Right, right. If anybody on these back chats, pass away in 100 years or tomorrow or
Right,
40 years
right.
from now, we're gonna be like, yeah, this brother was like this, and this brother was funny, and this brother said some crazy shit. But then they did this, but then they did that, but then they did this. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember that? Like it's gonna be a name attached to what you
There
did.
you go. Perfect. Perfect. And that brings them back alive. Any word that you used to use and you've never, like we used to use back in the day, a word called bump that. I haven't heard that word till I just said it. So that's a dead word. So if you go back in your mind and think of something you said when you was a child to other children and you say that word today,
People
that
gonna
word
look
was
at
dead
uh-huh.
until you brought it back to life.
And depending on the word, like I say, smooth groovy. I remember I said that to one of my persons in interest. She was like, "That's from the 1960s. Nobody say that word
Mm-hmm.
no more, but you cool."
Exactly. You bring it, but you
So,
brought it back to
but I
life.
brought it back to life, and
Exactly. Because
also,
only the living can do that.
but also to also add and build towards that. That's why when people back here be talking about dead languages and things like that, technically we're always speaking a dead language because we don't talk the same way we did as children, which is what you just said. So it will
Right.
be a dead language, and then we all different ages and grew up in different time zones and different slangs and, and colloquialisms and what's that other
Yeah.
ebonics. So it's like we actually all are speaking a dead language because it's true. We don't dress the same as we did when we was like 13, 16 years old. We don't talk the same. We don't holler at chicks the same, nothing.
You crazy. You always talking about a doggone female boy.
I mean, but it's true though.
Always talk about a female. I know what your greatest